I just have a quick question.
Go for it.
Regarding the actual PowerPoint itself, we were supposed to use the what's that called?
It's recording. Can you guys see the screen?
Make it full screen. You go present, yeah. There we go.
All right, so welcome to Group 4's presentation. It consists of myself, Patricia, Matthew, Aaron, and Jacob. So the outline said I am the moderator, and I will do the moderating. And today we will talk about the do's of virtual presentation, the don'ts of virtual presentation, when is it desired, when to wait for face-to-face setting, and the do's of virtual presentation will be presented by Matthew. The don'ts of virtual presentation will be presented by Jacob. When is it desired will be presented by Aaron. When to wait for face-to-face setting is presented by Patricia.
So in throughout this course, I learned the many aspects of what you should do during your virtual presentation, and I found that these tie into what I learned in my previous courses, such as public speaking, and I found that they all generally remain consistent. So some of these I have found from my public speaking class, but the majority of these I remembered from our digital presentations class. So one thing I learned is that when you're creating slides, you should keep it very simple. Don't make it overly colorful. Have a white background. Make sure everything is neat, presentable, visually appealing, so everyone can follow along properly. When you write sentences, you should make sure that um, the phrases are they're short. They're not paragraphs long or two sentences long. It generally be a couple of words. If you do have pictures, make sure that they're related to the topic. They if you do want to have a picture, you should have one to at most three, because I feel like anything beyond that would be too distracting, and people wouldn't really be able to focus on the presentation. They'd just be more focused on the picture. So when you do have pictures, they should be very minimal, graphics wise at least, so it's not as distracting, and make sure that it's as it complements the background as well as the whole presentation itself. So the next thing I learned is that you have to dress properly. You could wear a nice shirt. If you're showing, people are only going to see from your stomach to chest up. So people you should wear nice looking shirts and make sure that their backgrounds are nice so people can identify you easier. The audience can identify you easier. And when preparing for a presentation, you should prepare for the worst. You should develop a backup plan. What if the Zoom meeting crashes? What if it was never recording? What if your PowerPoint just stopped all of a sudden? So you need to prepare for anything that could happen. And before you go into a meeting, you should inform everyone they're being recorded and ask if they are comfortable with being recorded. So it gives everyone enough time to leave the presentation if they feel uncomfortable with being recorded.
All right, so I did the don'ts of virtual presentations. And some of these things you're just going to be doing in person or just virtually, so it kind of goes hand in hand. You don't want to be multitasking. It's pretty simple to understand. You want to show the person who's presenting or your audience that you're mainly only focused on them, and that you're the main focus of the whole thing. Never eat during your presentation. You never do that in a meeting in a room. So why would you ever do it virtually? It's pretty simple to understand. Don't have a messy background, just like me. had a dirty bed, so I just made it look nice and clean. Don't have a face of boredom. You want to show the people you're presenting, you're engaged, and you don't want to be like hunched over. You just want to be confident about it, and don't show up late. Showing up early is on time. I try to get here like 5 minutes earlier, and that's with everything in life. Like I get to work 5 minutes early, get to class 5 minutes early. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I did when virtual meetings are desired. I didn't feel like it was necessary to put during a pandemic on the slide, but I did it anyway because this is our new normal. This is what we're getting used to. This is something that everybody uses in the workforce, is just meeting online because people aren't in the office anymore. So that's my second point, is that working from home, it's easier to get everybody together. And if people work out of state, I've noticed that a lot of jobs are hiring people around the country and around the world even, because it's easier to get online and everybody show up and be in the virtual meeting from across the country. And then I found a few points from Forbes. It's an article from Forbes where it says that if a discussion's too long for an email, it's easier to just get everybody together into a Zoom room and coordinate that way. But you can't have the meeting go on for too long, otherwise people get bored and the Zoom fatigue kicks in. So that's a point that Forbes made. And then you can have a excessive amount of participants, but everybody can be in one room. So if there's a lot of people, you all can join together and it doesn't really matter. It's not like you're shoving people into a meeting room. It's everybody's just at home. And also like where meetings are accessible from anywhere, like I said before, with working from out of state and everything. So you can meet anywhere from your house to a restaurant, in your car. And all the attendees are always welcomed with the link, and those who are participating can do it from anywhere. So that's my slide.
Yeah, I think you're on mute, Patty.
I just realized I'm on mute. I'm so sorry. And the oven just caught on fire at my house. So Professor, if you see this, this is why I am outside. So I'm here to talk about when you want to wait for a face-to-face setting. And we just got done talking about when it's desired to be in a virtual communication setting. So instead, I'm going to talk about when to wait for face-to-face. So the first circumstance where you're going to want to wait is when you're required to do an increased amount of interaction. This could include hands-on work, high participation status, performance evaluations, and even training an employee. So for example, say you have someone that wants to take your place at a job, you want to be able to show them X, Y, and Z of what to do and their daily routine and what's going to be like, because you technically cannot do that in a virtual setting because it's really hard. The second circumstance where you're going to want to do a face-to-face setting is to resolve conflict. Now, workplace conflicts can be a big deal, but if you can pose a very easy environment to be able to do a concise, mature, and personal compromise, it's a lot easier to do that when you're in person. Doing that virtually can also be a little bit of an insult. Not saying that it always is, but since resolving a conflict can be kind of a serious matter and you want it to be over with and done with, being in person just gives everyone all the body language and variables that need to be understood to be able to get that kind of over and done with to move on in the work environment. The next circumstance where you're going to want to wait for a face-to-face setting is in a small group or a 1v1 setting. And basically those kind of settings might be for making major decisions. For example, maybe you want to fire someone or hire someone new for a big position, or even if you have to make a big decision for your company, doing those type of decisions are going to be a lot easier if you do that in person where no one is confused. And also to have more productivity. So a study was done in 2007 that showed that 67% of senior executives said that their organization would be more productive if they communicated via in person. And that makes a lot of sense because you want to have all that interaction and communication skills to be able to set those goals and make more productive goals and kind of be more set with your job. With all of that said, you want to, be safe with the pandemic that we've been talking about and current events. You don't want to go into work risking anyone if you are sick or not feeling good or if you're uncomfortable. So if virtual is not an option, just wait to be in face-to-face because there's always ways to reschedule or make something else happen.
All right, so that's it for our presentation. Are there any questions?
I don't think there's any questions. So with that said, we can end the presentation here. Moderator, do you want to end the recording or do you have anything else, or even for our panel representation here, anything you have to add?
Nothing I have to add? Anything else from any of the?
Or even Casey?
Overall, I just thought it was a really great presentation. It was stuff I basically just remembered coming right from the lectures. So good stuff.
Same here. It was very well done, and I like all the information you guys presented.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, thank you. I will be stopping the recording.